And welcome everybody to our tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to create our drawing that corresponds with the model or the tutorial number 608. For this example here, the part is complete. The only thing that we're lacking, if you were following my previous video for this tutorial, is I did not put any information in the descriptions or in the file properties. So let's go ahead and do that before we create our drawing. Now let's go up to here, select the file properties button, and there's a couple of options that I want to select here. You can select more than 3. We are only going to do 3 for this example, but the one that I want to start off with is by selecting description. Now on description, for this second column, we're going to leave text the way it is. Now what we're going to type in here is the description that we see on the title block. Now if you do not have our print in front of you, you are welcome to go to our website and download this for free. Our website is somartech.com. And under the downloads button, you have a couple of free packages or packets that we have provided for our users that they can use for free and download for free and use them as exercises. So for this example, we are working with packet number 600. So just select on the image, it'll download a package that has a total of 12 sheets. As you scroll down, you see there's a couple of instructions on here on how to use our tutorials. And as you scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see the dimensional drawings for each particular tutorial. So these are provided for you to try to work on these tutorials on your own. But if you have any kind of issues, you can always come back to our website and look through our video library to try to find any of the tutorials that you may need, and they will walk you step by step on each one of these examples. Okay, so the one that we're using for this example is 608, which is the last sheet in this packet. And we're trying to basically just recreate this right here. Okay, I want to put a front view and then a right view of the washer. And also, we're going to use this to help determine certain information that we're going to type into our file properties. Okay, so once again, our file properties is this box right here. Under description, we're going to type in what you see on this part of your title block, a 1-inch narrow type A washer. Okay, so let's go ahead and type that in there, 1-inch narrow type A washer. Now just make sure everything's in caps and then hit enter. Over here, what you see on the last column is very important. But let's proceed with the other 2 examples before I give you a little bit more information about this over here. So the next thing we want to do is select material. Now in our previous tutorial, we had already defined the material, so it should automatically populate. So here on the 3rd column, hit the pull down arrow and select the word material again. And it will automatically analyze your file and see if you have defined a material on the 3D model, which we did, which was shown on our previous tutorial. And this is where it's getting it from, right here. Now the 3rd thing is going to be weight. Select weight from the list, move over to the 3rd column. This time you're going to select mass. And there it'll give you the weight, 0.11 pounds. And select OK. Now right after that, you may not realize the importance of what you just did to the file, but you'll see in a minute. So let's go to this new icon. Hit the pull down arrow next to it and select make drawing from part. Now the size that you want to work with is A ANSI landscape. Basically the first one on the list that you see on the screen. Now for you, if you don't see it on your screen, it might be that you might be working under a different standard. So you may have DIN or ISO showing up on your list. If you check off this box, as you can see on mine, is not checked in. But if you don't see ANSI, click off that check mark and it'll give you a list of all the formats. Okay, and you should be able to find a ANSI landscape after you click off this box. Now just highlight the size that you want. A size is basically an 8.5 by 11 paper, and that's the size we want to use, and select OK. Now immediately you'll notice on your right hand side a couple of views of the component that we're working with. So all you have to do at this point is just select the view that you want to bring onto your sheet. So left click and hold down on top view and drag it over and place it on your drawing. Now on mine it said top view. It all depends on how you modeled it. On yours it might say something different, but as long as it looks like this is the view that you want. And then go ahead and place the right view to the right of the original view that you just placed. You'll see that SOLIDWORKS will automatically want to keep placing more views. For example, I'm going to drop the view there by doing a left click. And if I keep moving my mouse, depending on which direction I move it, that's the view that it wants to add. And all you would have to do is to accept that view, just left click somewhere on your paper and it'll place the view right there. But for this example, we're only doing these two. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark to accept. Now you'll notice that the views are aligned. Okay, so you move one, the other one will follow. This one here was your original view, so it's called the parent view. And then this one here is a child of the parent. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is add a couple of dimensions. So once again, on our drawing, if you see, we have diameters right here, we have the thickness up here, and then we have a chamfer callout. So a total of 4 dimensions. So let's go ahead and add those dimensions. The easiest way to add the dimensions for such a basic shape is to go up to here under annotations and just select model items. Now when you select model items, you're gonna get a window that opens up here on the left with a lot of options. For this example, don't worry about all these additional options. It's something that we'll cover probably later in some much later tutorials, but for this example, all you have to do is go to this first one that says source and destination, pull this down and just select entire model and just confirm that this one is checked in, and that's pretty much it. That's the only one we're going to use at the moment. And just go ahead and hit the check mark to accept. And what it does is it automatically puts your dimensions on the screen. These dimensions were the same dimensions that you used on your sketches when you first created your drawing. Okay, as you can see, I'm moving up the thickness over here. This one here is your chamfer callout. Okay, now your chamfer callout, these 2 dimensions is not the way that we want to show the dimensions. So if we go back to the PDF, you'll see that it's basically included in a liter. Okay, they're not called out like these are. So we want to change that around a little bit. So what we want to do now is let's go ahead and eliminate the ones that we don't want. Now what I recommend is do not delete the dimensions, just hide them. So you can right click on the ones you don't want and then select hide, which are going to be these 2 right here. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and include my chamfer dimension here on the bottom. So I'm scrolling in by moving the little wheel on the mouse. Now, if you go to the smart dimension, you pull this down, there's a chamfer dimension option here on the bottom. Go ahead and select it. And all you have to do is select the chamfer edge and then select one of the other ones. It doesn't matter which one for this example because it's a 45 degree. So I'm going to select this one right here. And you'll see that it creates that dimension. Now, once you place a dimension here, you may also notice that this one here should be a 3-place decimal and that this one here should not have any decimals at all. So immediately, as long as this is highlighted, over here on the left, you'll see these are the properties for this dimension right here. So you have tolerance precision, and you also have second tolerance precision. So this box, tolerance precision, the first box belongs to your first value on your chamfer dimension. The second tolerance precision belongs to the one at the back. Okay, so right now for this one, tolerance type, it says none, which is correct. We don't want any tolerance to show up on this dimension, but we do want this to be a 3-place decimal. So select right here and then select 1, 2, 3 for 3-place decimals. Hit the check or just select it and it will automatically change. Now for the second one, this one belongs to the 45 degrees. None is correct. Also for the tolerance, we don't want any tolerance on it, but we want this to be 0 decimal places or none. So just select none and you'll see that it changes. Okay. The other thing, when I scroll back to the PDF, is the scale on the bottom. It says scale 2:1. To make that change, what you have to select here, as you can tell right now, my scale is a 1:1 if you look here on the bottom of the screen. I want to change that. Now there's a couple of options, but the one that I recommend, when you want all the scales on your sheet to change equally, right click somewhere on your title block. Let's go to properties, and right here is where you change the scale. So we can change that 2:1, and you see that the scale of your views get larger. You may have to reposition some of the dimensions to clean up your view, and you'll notice that the title block reflects the values that you just typed in. It automatically updates. Now, the one thing I didn't point out earlier is, if you notice as well, the title description automatically populated, and the material automatically populated, and the weight automatically populated, and so did the drawing number. The reason that populated was because, if you guys remember what we did earlier, we did the file properties on the 3D model, and those were then carried into your title block. These were empty before we dropped in our first view. Okay, now there is another section right here where it says drawn, checked, engineer approved, manufacturing approval. You can also change those as well, and so revision. So what I'm going to show you guys is how to put your name on here without going in there, zooming in, putting a text box. There's an easier approach, and it's the exact same thing we did earlier. Now, the 3D model had file properties, but now so does your drawing. So on your drawing, select the file properties button. This is different. This is not what we did on the 3D. This is what we're doing on the drawing side of things. Now, for some of you guys, you may have a SOLIDWORKS format size line. Just go ahead and leave that there. It doesn't affect you in any way. But what you do want to add to it is you want to hit the little pull down arrow right here and select drawn by. So I'm just going to put in my first initial and last name and hit enter. Okay, you want to keep it short because that box is not very big. You want to select this down, and then you want to select drawn date. So the first one was drawn by, where I put my name and my initial and my last name. And then on here on drawn date, you can now change this one to date. This is the only one that we've changed so far. Every other one has set text. And right here, you have to put in a date. So today's date, you can put January 27, 2017 and hit enter. What's important is that over here on the last column, these are populating, because whatever it sees over here is what's going to show up on your title block. Okay, now remember, notice we don't have anything right here, nor right there, and nor right here. It's empty. So the last thing I want to draw or include on here is going to be revision. And then you can type in, for example, revision 1. Now the moment I hit OK, this information right here will automatically be populated onto our title block. Okay, and as you guys can see, my name automatically shows up on the box, the date automatically shows up there, and then the revision level shows up right there. Now, every other box that you see on here, you can also include in the file properties. We're not going to do that, but just so you guys are aware. And these title blocks are automatically provided by SOLIDWORKS, so you don't have to do anything special to make that work. It automatically works. Now, you can customize your title block. You can eliminate lines, you can do logos, but that'll be on a different tutorial. I just wanted to show you guys what's already built in onto SOLIDWORKS, so you guys know that it's there. A lot of us, when we first started working with SOLIDWORKS, we worry about just doing the 3D, and we overlook some of these additional things that are very useful there for us too. Now, the drawing number, that was included because that's the way that we saved our model. So if I go back to our model, when we did this one originally and we saved it as 608 only, when you create your drawing, that 608 name of the file will populate right here. So if you saved it as anything else, it would show up right here. So that's another reason why I recommend save it as 608. Now, the only thing that we are missing, if we go back to the PDF, is typical that was included on this dimension right here. And we have a horizontal center line right there. So let's go ahead and do that. So if you want to add text to a dimension, just click on it, scroll down here towards the bottom, and under dim, as long as you don't break this less than and greater than dim box, you can type anything in front of it, you can type anything behind it, you can hit enter and type anything below it, you can hit enter here and type something above it. It doesn't matter as long as you do not break or decide to type something in there. You got to stay out of this, otherwise you lose this value. So I'm gonna hit enter and type in TYP, and you'll see on the screen it shows up. Once you see it on the screen, just hit the check mark to accept it. The other thing is adding the center line, and the center line is basically just clicking on the center line button here. You have to confirm first that none of your views are selected, because if you inadvertently have a view selected that you don't want to add a center line to, it will add a center line to it because you're pre-selecting it before you hit this button. So just click somewhere on your screen or on your paper that you know you are not in a view, select center line, and you have a couple of options. Since this part right here is round, if you click on it, it will automatically find the center. If it wasn't round, it was a square, then you can select on an edge and the opposite edge, and it will find a center line in between the edges. Okay, but in this case, because it's a round image, even though we're looking at it from the side, it still understands it is round. Just hit it and it will automatically find a center line for you. And then at this point, just hit the check mark. Okay, so we've added basically all the dimensions that we have on our print. The only thing I think that's left to do now is actually, as I'm looking at it, is this dimension right here. You can see the handles or the end of these extension lines are a little too far down. You can always just grab them by a left click and drag them up. And just kind of place them up here. So once you're done with the model or the drawing, just go ahead, File, Save, and you're going to save it as the exact same number. You're going to save it as 608, the same as what you did with the model. The reason you won't save over 3D models because the extension is different. The moment you hit save on a drawing, the extension will be SLDDRW, and the part was SLDPRT. So they can have the same number. It won't affect them at all. So just go ahead and save your work. And that pretty much wraps it up. This is kind of the basic how to create a drawing. I know this shape here wasn't very complicated. This is just a basic introduction to how to create a drawing. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and hope you guys come back for more videos. Thank you very much.